It's Diane Tapillo again. Welcome to this short video with some helpful strategies for getting set up in Code.org. Get your class set up. Code.org is a nice place to start because it provides age-appropriate logins. It has letters to parents. It has lesson plans and other support materials. It has some assessment data. Not detailed, but again, gives you some progress. And it's that dashboard with the student data that you can follow along with. So it's an easy to set up a teacher account. You just have to select you want a teacher account. You don't need an account to access resources. You can play with them, but if you want to save anything, it only saves if you're logged in, and that's for your students too. You create a new section. You can decide whether you want picture logins, Word logins, or have students create their own with older students. In setting up the section, you give it a name, you tell the grade level, you choose which course you're going to do. So you want to look at explore the courses a little bit, and then you can assign students to the course. You can manually enter names, or you can just copy your class list and post it in. And then you send that link that we showed in the first video in this series to the students, and they log in, click on their names, and get access with their secret picture at this age group. And here's an example of what that would look like. Here's the link to the class, and you give them their name, and here's their secret picture so that they can see. They can do so. Don't have to do much reading, and they would recognize their name. I've made mine all trial 1 and 2 because I use them a lot with presentations such as this one. The lesson plans, we can access them in several places. We can do it from once we click on the class, we can see it here on the right hand side. You can see my hands going in terms of thinking left and right. We can go to this the curriculum for the different courses, elementary, and about halfway down the page you can click on lesson plans using the link here in the slideshow. We get this dashboard so we can see what students have done, and there's a legend at the bottom. Green means they've completed the task. The light green means they've used too many blocks. They've completed it, but they haven't met the challenge of reducing the number of blocks, and that's where we push into repeating events and nested events, which force students to see what pattern is at the core, what is repeating, and building on that patterning. We can see when we're looking at student progress, they have some assessments and surveys for some of the activities. We can see that if it was done alone or with a group. So you can see here this has multiple heads there, and that means it was done by pairs. And here is our legend. So I mentioned above that we can see if it's done in pairs or groups. We can enable pair programming. We can have it turned off as well. But there's a lot of research that pair programming lessens stress and contributes. There's no less learning of the coding. So it's a great thing, especially online in these COVID times. It's a great activity to have students be able to work together. Different ways you can use the pair programming. You can have a driver and a navigator. The driver is sharing their screen in a Zoom room if you're working online. The can ask questions. The navigator gives suggestions and negotiators, much like group work in the thinking classroom. The person with the pen has to write down other people's ideas. We can make the same rule here, that the navigator or navigators are giving suggestions, negotiating with the coder, the driver, and that. The teacher could be an observer and taking notes on students' understandings, could have a parent volunteer, a parent or volunteer recording it. What do they understand? What math processes are they using in terms of communication? How are the students dealing with the ups and downs of coding, the possible frustrations? How are they attacking problems? How are they building up that perception, that identity of themselves as problem solvers? And again, Here we have lots of multiple heads where things have been done in pairs. We have a list here of good prompts and questions. So much like if we're using rich problems in math class, if we as teachers think about what questions we're going to ask, what prompts we're going to give in ahead, where students might struggle, if we prepare those in advance, we're better able to act in the moment. So we've created a list of prompts here, and every year we're adding more as we go along. Again, trying to keep the productive struggle, keep the students thinking, because coding isn't following in someone else's instructions and writing down as an example. Coding is about thinking. It's about problem solving. So how do we get that productive struggle with our students? And we've correlated a couple other resources here for you in terms of a video about using that dashboard and some other resources on code.go. Hope this is helpful. The next video looks at assessment, some assessment ideas using code.org. Hope you're finding these things useful. And if you have any questions, contact us at otcodingexplorations@gmail.com, and we'll try and get back to you. We'll set up a FAQs. Good coding.